In the internet age, everyone and their dog is an expert on something. The beauty and the curse of the internet is that everyone has an opinion and is going to share it. And not only are we all going to share it, but we're more convinced than ever of how right we are. And so I want to share with you 6 basic principles to follow when giving others advice. You know, because I'm so convinced of how freaking right I always am. What's up everybody, welcome to the video. My name is Tanvir Ahmed, and hey, consider subscribing if you haven't already to upgrade yourself and your relationships to the next level. If you genuinely want to help someone, I recommend the following. First, make sure the person actually wants advice. No type of advice is worse than unsolicited advice. No one is more likely to be ignored than a nosy know-it-all. Make sure the person you're trying to help is actually looking for help. Unless you want to come across as a condescending asshole. Second, make sure you actually know what you're talking about. The second biggest sin of advice giving is giving someone advice when you don't have the proper experience yourself. The person you're trying to help may not notice, but I guarantee you that people who do have the experience will notice. And whether they say anything or not, you will lose credibility. As the old saying goes, he who thinks he knows everything learns nothing. If you don't have the experience but you do feel like you have an important or useful observation to make, then you should always qualify it by saying, I've never had this problem before, but it seems to me blah blah blah, or something similar before speaking. Third, meet them where they are, not where you are. It's difficult for many of us to step outside of ourselves and to imagine the place others may be stuck in. Many of us have the tendency to project our own issues and successes onto others, even when it's not justified. Giving advice based on your life situation and not theirs is ineffective at best and embarrassing at worst. Fourth, psychoanalysis is not advice, it's condescending. The worst part about this is that you may even be right, but you're still not helping anybody. The quickest way to piss someone off and shut you out is to try and tell them who they are, why they're having the thoughts they're having, why they're making the mistakes they're making, and so on. Things only get worse if you start making assumptions about their character, their life, or their past. This relates to meeting people where they are, but just because you notice something doesn't mean you have to fix it. If someone has an overly negative attitude and thinks the world is against them, then telling them they have a negative attitude is unlikely to help them. They're gonna perceive you to be condescending and just another part of that world that is aligned against them. The best way is to meet them where they are and answer their question in the simplest way possible for them to understand. It is worth noting that sometimes people are looking for specific observations on their mindsets and worldviews. And in those situations, advice like this is useful. But again, if they're not looking for it, then giving it to them is not gonna go well. Fifth, criticize their actions, not their character. It's important to differentiate the actions of a person from their intentions. You'd be amazed how often people do stupid things with really noble intentions. Anyone who's grown up with overly critical parents knows the sting of someone judging your character based on some mistake you made. Sixth, people don't owe you anything. Just because you take the time to give someone advice does not mean that they're obligated to use it, and it does not mean that they owe you any gratitude or anything in return. Too many times do I see someone who has given advice get upset that someone didn't use it. They have no responsibility to use it. It's their life, it's their path. If what you say resonates with them, they will identify with it and try it out. If not, then they owe you nothing. Advice is a gift, and as a gift, it is given unconditionally, with nothing expected in return. And with that said, you can take the advice of this video and use it, or you may disregard it completely, whichever you choose. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe and turn on the bell notification to get notified every time I publish a new video. And as always, I'll see you next Thursday.